A thin, trembling voice cut through the bright morning air just as the millionaire placed his hand on the car door handle, and the world seemed to freeze around him. The girl stood several feet away, her small fingers clenched around the straps of her green dress, her eyes wide with a fear no child should ever know. She whispered that the guards behind him had said something in Chinese, something about the car exploding the moment he stepped inside. For a heartbeat, the sunlit courtyard outside the corporate tower felt colder than winter. This was not a place for danger, not a place for warnings from trembling children who didn't belong in polished marble spaces. And yet, there she stood, a silent fracture in the perfect world of a man who had forgotten what vulnerability looked like. If you believe in hope, compassion, and second chances, Be Kind Tales invites you to like, comment, share, and subscribe to keep these emotional stories alive. He straightened slowly, torn between disbelief and a gnawing instinct he hadn't felt since he grew up running from chaos in a childhood he never spoke of. His name was Arlen Moretti, known in business circles for rebuilding companies the way surgeons rebuilt bones, precise, detached, without hesitation. But behind the tailored suits lived a man who had once been a boy hiding beneath staircases as his father's debts drew dangerous men to their home. Arlen had spent his life outrunning shadows, vowing never to fear again. Yet at that moment, his heartbeat throbbed like a trapped bird. He turned, studying the three suited guards who appeared professional, calm, almost bored. And yet the little girl watched them the way a deer watches wolves. The girl, whose name he did not know yet, seemed so out of place among the granite pillars and glass reflections. Her hair curled softly around her face, and though she was small, her posture carried a strange determination, as if she'd learned too young that being afraid didn't protect you. Arlen found his breath catching, not from danger, but from something inexplicable, an unsettling sense that she reminded him of someone he once lost. He knelt instinctively, not because he believed her words yet, but because her trembling lower lip told him she had risked something by speaking. He wanted to ask where she had come from, why she spoke Chinese so easily, what she had overheard, but no answer would matter if he ignored the warning and stepped into a car rigged with death. The courtyard stretched wide and shimmering behind him, a sea of polished concrete glowing under the sun, and the quiet hum of city life pulsed like a heartbeat. Cars rolled past on the street to the left, pedestrians hurried across the far walkway, and above them the towering glass facade of Moretti Industries glinted with ruthless beauty. In a world so carefully designed, danger should have felt impossible. Yet Arlen had long known that real threats rarely announced themselves through chaos, sometimes they wore suits and smiles. The guards remained still, their expressions unreadable, but the girl kept shifting her weight as though ready to run, ready to scream, ready to mourn. Arlen's thoughts flickered to his mother, her soft voice, her bruised arms, her warning whispers telling him to always listen to children because they sensed truths adults ignored. She had died too early, too tired, too unseen. And Arlen, no matter how much power he had built, still carried her words pressed into the deepest layers of his mind. The little girl before him suddenly felt like a message from a past he tried so hard to forget, a reminder that even the strong could bleed. He inhaled slowly, a measured breath that did nothing to calm the storm tightening his ribs. He stepped subtly away from the car, ignoring the guard's immediate shift of attention. Something in their eyes changed, barely, but enough. A flash of tension, a microsecond of calculation. The kind a man notices only if he has once lived with wolves. Arlen's heart lurched. He pretended to check his phone, keeping his movements casual while signaling security from his private team with practiced subtlety. The little girl's eyes followed him, filled with worry far too heavy for her age. Minutes felt like hours until two trusted members of Arlen's core security arrived from inside the building. They swept the car with a precision that revealed what the girl had warned, a compact device wired beneath the passenger seat, invisible to anyone glancing casually but deadly enough to rip metal into shrapnel. Arlen's breath drained from him in a silent gasp. The world around him blurred for a moment as if his past, his present, and the haunting echoes of his mother's warnings collided in one violent wave. Above all else, he felt a crushing mixture of gratitude and terror, gratitude for the girl, terror for what almost happened. The guards who had been assigned to escort him that morning were quickly restrained, their real identities unraveling layer by layer as Arlen's trusted team dug into their backgrounds. Hired mercenaries disguised as corporate security. Paid to ensure he didn't survive the day. The revelation made his pulse pound, not because of the betrayal but because the girl